All right, so I want to go ahead and get into this 3:47-minute brain rot of Snack Taylor talking about how he's disappointed. Sounds like a freaking dad at this point. Doesn't even sound like a coach. But before we get into that, I got to give a warning. A little trigger warning here. For some reason, the Bengals are very dysfunctional when it comes to putting together an interview. And instead of just putting the interview correctly with the music very low, they decide for the first minute of this audio to have it as a jump scare, where they put the audio way higher, the music in the background, way higher than Snack Taylor. So just a little FYI, it's going to be like, having Taco Bell at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Your butthole might get blown out. But let's just get right into this brain rot.
It's tough. I mean, their defense is great. You have to give them the credit. They're well coached. They have great players. We had some drives there in the first half. We weren't backed up per se, but minus 10, minus 15. Felt like we were working our way out of that thing, and you just kind of stall out at midfield, and so just didn't sustain, didn't get the explosive plays we'd like to get, and that's a credit to them. That's how they played us, and they were going to make us go the length of the field, and we just weren't able to do that in the first half.
All right, so the first question they ask is, why outside of the first drive did you guys just not be able to do anything? And first off, the first question I would ask is this. I understand why you went for it on a 2-point conversion on the first drive, right? You got a roughing the passer call, whatever. Arguably, you don't take points off the board, especially with given, Snack Taylor's offense. Although it has been good recently, there's always a chance it could go back in remission and be absolutely dog water. So that's the first question I would ask is I understand why you did it, but why did you call the most dog crap play we have ever seen in human history? I mean, I'm serious here. There has never been a stupider play call I have ever seen someone run. We had a direct snap to Chase Brown on that 2-point conversion. And the only option on that 2-point conversion, on that direct snap, was to throw the ball to Joe Flacco on the left-hand side or run the ball. And they had a stacked box with 7 guys on the line. So running the ball was stupid. Now, they had 2 guys on the outside, so throwing the ball would have been stupid. The whole play call and the play call design was stupid. That's the first question I would have asked. I don't really, not going to ask too much about the whole way, well, why would your offense stall? Well, it was cold out. We had a 41-year-old quarterback. Our quarterback has a shoulder problem, and you could see throughout the game it was actually really bothering him. I understand that concept, right? What I don't understand is why would you go for it and call that stupid of a play? That's my first question. But I don't even think he would answer that, so it doesn't really matter.
Outside the first drive. Yeah, because we had him behind the sticks plenty of times, and I think that was great, for our guys to do that and some opportunities to take advantage of. And so then when they convert, that takes the wind out of you a little bit.
I love how they stop the music and then they just bring it back 3 seconds later. They're like, okay, guys, we figured it out. We stopped the music now. And then 3 seconds later, they're like, let's just bring it back. Let's just bring back the classics.
Yeah, again, I don't think we were ever in a tremendous rhythm in any facet, and you have to credit them. They had a great plan. They played well. At times we found some momentum, and just it wasn't enough of that to go out and score enough points to win the game.
I feel like our offense not being in a rhythm or not being able to get into a rhythm at all throughout the whole entire game is kind of more of a shot at our offensive coordinator, Snack Taylor here, who maybe just didn't call the best game and didn't actually call the best plays. Instead of it being the other team to simply beat us, right, where we constantly went 3 and out and couldn't do anything, maybe you just kind of take, credibility as Snack Taylor here and say, hey, I didn't call the best game, and obviously I should have called a better game, and, Steelers played good, but at the end of the day, it comes down to me calling the best plays. Like on that 2-point conversion, where you decided to call a direct snap to the running back and run the ball and take points off the board, and that's the play call you called.
You credit Chase for keeping his cool there when it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these guys are in emotional matchups. We all know that. There's a lot at stake for teams. There's a lot at stake for these individuals. It's competitive when you got great players going against great players. It's going to be emotional at times, and Jamar's always done an excellent job of controlling what he can control, and so I respect that about him.
You said Pittsburgh tackled better today, and that's a big reason why they were able to win. Because like every week we ask you about tackling. Is it to a point where you guys have brought it up in practice so much and talked about it so much after games that you might need to just make some personnel changes to see if that can help with tackling?
No.
Do you think we should make personnel changes because no one on this defense can actually play football half the time? Oh, no. We don't need to do that. We have the perfect team. Because as Zach says, all the fixes will happen in-house, right? In-house. Although we did pick up somebody who had 30 sacks in college recently, but you know what we did? We didn't activate him today, and we didn't play him today. He's still in the practice squad. Why is that the case? Because they're idiots. Sorry, just because they're idiots. They should have practiced. They should have played him. They should have put him out there, and they should have seen what he could do. But instead, we didn't play him, and our pass rush looked like dog crap. We couldn't get after the quarterback, and we lost the game. But yet, we didn't decide to play the guy that we just picked up and actually make a personnel change. Instead, Zach and Duke and Katie Blackburn and everyone else decided, you know what's best? Let's just put out the same old guys we have out there every single week. And let's just hope something magical happens. You know, maybe we can wish upon a star and something can go right. Newsflash, it didn't. We lost 34-20.
I think this might have been what you were talking about with Charlie here, but on the Jalen Ramsey ejection play, he was obviously the only one ejected. Were you comfortable with how you guys conducted yourselves?
I have no idea. I didn't see any of it. I got the worst view in the house. So again, they didn't call us for anything, so I'm proud of our guys. I have the worst seat in the house. No idea.
So how frustrating is it to be 3-7 through 10 games last year, kind of a similar record at this point in the year? You know, given the hot start, 2-0, just being unable to capitalize on that, how frustrating is that now?
Yeah, you feel them. You feel all the losses. You feel them all. They eat at you all. You know, we're working like crazy to make sure that this doesn't happen. It happened today. It's disappointing. Our option is come back tomorrow and keep fighting and find a way to get a win. And we got a red-hot team coming in here. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do everything we can to clean this up, correct the mistakes, get back to work, and fight another week and find a way to get a win.
Or option 2. You fire Duke Tobin and you fire Zach Taylor. Now, that's not the sexiest option to do during the year. And it's an option where you're going to have to use interim coaches to try to figure things out. But at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to make do with what you got to make do with. Al Golden would become the head coach / defense coordinator. Dan Pitcher would take over the offensive play calling for the rest of the year. Our season's over. It's not like it's a big deal here. And we'd have no GM for the rest of this year. And in the end, we would have to this offseason figure something out and, you know, kind of go on from there and hopefully hire the correct guys. Relying on our front office is not always the smartest idea. That's the move you make, and that just puts a principle in place that, hey, we're not dealing with this crap anymore. We're not accepting this crap anymore. If we're going to put out this dog crap product for our fans, then we're going to, you know, make sure that people are accountable for this dog crap product. But at the end of the day, that's not what Zach wants to do, and that's not what Duke wants to do, and that's not what Katie Blackburn wants to do. They all love living, you know, in the little lavish lives and the little top penthouse suites here where they can do whatever they want, get away with whatever they want, and there's no punishment for it. And that's just kind of how it is with them. They just love living in that bull crap. So it is what it is.
Same. Just what I just said. Same thing.
Do you feel like it was maybe a missed opportunity, especially with Joe Windows opening, just to kind of tighten things in the AFC North?
Of course. You know, our goal is to be 3-0 in the division, you know, coming out of this game, and that's not how it played out.
What's kind of a said this was a big win that you guys needed. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to kind of go from here?
New England. I mean, it's simple. Find a way to scratch and claw and get a win, and get the feeling we had back 3 weeks ago when we beat Pittsburgh. And gave us a good opportunity, and so that's where we're back to. We're back to just find a way to get a win against New England and try to capitalize from there. That is our only option right now. Okay, thank you all.
Thanks, Zach.
I mean, he's not wrong. From Zach Taylor's perspective, that is the only option. Because obviously him being fired, whatever, that's a completely different scenario. And that's not something that is, really in control of Zach Taylor here. That would be if the front office finally decides to actually do something. But they're not going to. And we're going to be in the same spot next week as we are in this week. And it is what it is, man. We have to play the Patriots next week, and they're going to absolutely steampile us. And we're just going to have to accept it. The Patriots are a really great team right now. They're probably one of the best in the league. They are playing at a very high level, and this game is going to be a very tough game. Nothing there gave me any confidence in any way. I mean, other than him saying he was disappointed a couple times, it doesn't even sound like someone who's upset, man. It doesn't even sound like someone who's defeated. It doesn't sound like someone who, is going through heck and back for this. It sounds like someone who just is like, hey, it is what it is, move on, right? Where if you again, and obviously, we're not going to get Dan Campbell here, but when you listen to Dan Campbell when they lose, man, that guy has passion in his voice. He feels like a real coach. He feels like someone who cares. He feels like someone who puts his butt and his line, everything on the line. He just feels like an actual football guy, coach, player, a man. He just feels like that. And then you see stuff like this from Zach, and you're just like, dude, I wouldn't want to play for Zach Taylor. I wouldn't. Because I feel like, how can you get pumped up? How can you get confident? How can you feel emotional, like you want to go out there and rip someone's head off for your coach? You want to play hard for your coach. You want to go out there and show your coach, make sure he looks the best of the best. If I played for Zach Taylor, I wouldn't feel that. And it's the same thing with the Brownies when they had Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens and Zach Taylor are pretty much the same exact person. And it's crazy how much they're similar. Because they are literally the same person over and over again. They act the same. Their mannerisms the same. They get pushed over the same. And they just don't have the care in the world or the ability to really give a crap about anything. And a lot of times it's because, again, they're just in this position where they know they're not going to get fired. They know no one's going to take away their job. So they become this complacent situation where they just don't care. And they don't see